Okay, Judas. Go ahead. Do your stuff.
Thanks for listening to the first episode of the Luciferian Research Society podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Crow. We're recording this on Friday the 13th of the year 2010. Now, because this is the first episode ever, I thought it would be appropriate to discuss the Luciferian Research Society itself. What it is, what it isn't, the philosophy behind the network, and most importantly, what you can benefit from active participation in the group. Now, this is not a charitable organization. The aim of the group is to benefit each individual that composes the group. Now, at the most basic level, the LRS is intended to be a network for left-hand path occultists. Now, I know that some of the people listening to this podcast may not be familiar with the lingo, so we'll define our terms as we go. Now, a lot of people get this term confused with the word cult, which basically means a small religious sect that operates outside of mainstream recognition. Most people think of a coercive cult, which is run by a single guru who manipulates the followers into doing things that will benefit the guru. Occultism is not any of those things. Occult means hidden, and it refers to the various different types of spiritual technologies or mental and emotional techniques, even physical techniques that produce results that are not fully explainable by mainstream science. Now, the term left-hand path is a really important term to understand because it's about the whole philosophy behind the LRS. The left-hand path is best explained by comparing it to the right-hand path. The right-hand path is essentially what most of the mainstream organized religions follow. It's a path of annihilating the individual self in favor of unifying with some form of ultimate divinity, such as God, or perhaps a state, such as nirvana in Buddhism, or most of the mainstream religions, East and West, follow a right-hand path in that regard. Now, the left-hand path goes a bit of a different route. We call it apotheosis. That's a term that means becoming divine. The goal is to become a god, essentially, or enlightened and immortal. There's a lot of different terms that mean essentially the same thing. And what it does, what you're intending to do, is to emphasize your own unique individuality to the point that you become a creative force in your own right in the universe, and you maintain your own individuality, some say even beyond death of the physical body. The second point that defines the left-hand path is summed up by a term we call Antinomianism. That essentially means going against the grain, doing something that's forbidden or taboo. There's a lot of energy that's released when you break a taboo or do something forbidden or transcend one of your own personal limitations. You gain a greater amount of freedom in your life to be able to act based off of what you actually want to do rather than what is acceptable to do. This is the path of the outsider. The left-hand path is the path of the rebel. It's typified by figures such as Lucifer or Prometheus, and even Satan or Set from the Egyptian pantheon. There's a lot of different rebellious archetypes out there in the various different world mythologies, from modern times to ancient times. There's even a left-hand path branch of Christianity, believe it or not. And the LRS is intended to be a network for all the various different left-hand path occultists to get together, discuss what they're doing, and to collaborate on various different projects. So to summarize, the right-hand path is about conformity and being a good member of society, and ultimately the logical conclusion of all of that is to subsume your own individuality within this ultimate overarching divinity or state of being. The left-hand path it could even use the same techniques of the right-hand path all the way up until the end goal is to become a god in your own right, and uses methods that are not necessarily accepted by the society that you're in.
The road to the right leads to happiness and eternal life. The road to the left leads to death, hell, and destruction.
To take it a step further, the target audience for the LRS would be producers or service providers of some sort. The LRS is ideal for this type of person because they can promote their own projects. So for example, if you're an artist, you have a venue for presenting your artwork to the type of people that are interested in the same types of things as you are. It's a highly targeted market. For example, say you wanted to find other left-hand path occultists to do group ritual with. This would be a place that you could find other people like that in your area, around the world. If you have a group that you want to promote, an organization, say a temple or a lodge, there are several members already that have their own group. Now, ideally what you'd want to do here is set up your own subgroup within the LRS and have all of your members join that subgroup. Within there, you can discuss your own individual agendas and discuss the subject matter that you're working with. It's also a great way to showcase your organization to the types of people that might be interested in joining it. Another great way that you can take advantage of the resources provided by the LRS is to showcase your artwork. If you provide a service that you think would be of benefit to the members of the LRS, this is also a great venue to promote those services. For example, we have several psychic readers. I do tarot readings, for example. And the LRS is a way that you can interact with some of these people that are providing these services, get to know them a little bit, find out what their style is, and see if you can find somebody that you feel compatible with that you'd want to get a reading from, for example. I know we have members that do web design. Essentially, anything that you're doing, any of the projects that you're involved with, or services that you're providing, or products that you're generating, or other groups, this is the place to find other left-hand path occultists that might be interested in supporting these various projects or taking advantage of these products and services.
Remember what that fella said? He said you'll be making plenty of money and you won't have to work hard to get it. Now ain't that nice? Go ahead. Anyway, it's too late to turn back now.
We're looking for your submissions. If you're an artist, if you've got a book coming out, let us know. We'll announce it. If you have a sound clip of yourself giving your opinion, we can add that in. If you've got an event that you'd like us to announce on the podcast, we can do that. If you have any visual art, we can also include that in this podcast format. If you'd like to be interviewed on an episode of the LRS podcast, we'd be very interested in that as well. One of the reasons that we have this podcast is to feature the artwork of the members. It's a way that we can get that material out there. Now we're going to play a song that was submitted by one of the members of the LRS. This is Compella and The Twister. The song is called Dare the Dark Lord.
Rip that shit, show. There we go. Why the fuck is that? So why is it that there exist so many goddamn religions, all are different but all are claiming to be the proper opinion? Why is it whenever I see suffering on television, it's usually reported as being linked to some religion? Why is it every minute a Christian prays to non-existence? He's not in his head acknowledging, not knowing what he's missing. Why is it those crazy Catholics are still worshiping magic, afraid of the chupacabra hiding under the mattress? And why is it I can never give as much of a fuck as the mindless abide in silence, keeping quiet for what? Speaking out about my beliefs to me is equally dumb. Never needed belief in anything other than number one. Hungering like the sun in the image of Ra. Lingering spirits inside of pyramids, worshiping gods, pagan beliefs, conspiracy theories, masonry hearings. Eye on the dollar bill, iconic sequence revealed. Your faith isn't for me, your faith isn't for me. Let's burn these books and dare the Dark Lord to take us away. Your faith isn't for me, your faith isn't for me. Trading your self-esteem for some fictional dream. Your faith isn't for me, your faith isn't for me. Let's burn these books and dare the Dark Lord to take us away. Your faith isn't for me, your faith isn't for me. I'll never believe in nothing, it must have been meant to be. No fear of a pit or fire, no torment after I'm dead. Distorted stories devoted to a personal pledge, uplifting a human being up higher than any other, allowing the shroud of mystery to grant you some cover. Under the institution lies the mental pollution, delusions of grandeur, making you believe the abracadabra. Muhammad or Mick Jagger, the fuck does it matter? Does Vishnu get pissed too if you ain't rubbing Hindu? Maybe they might have missed you. Sorry, you're fish food when the rapture captures all of the world's sinners. Splits them like atoms and causes the nuclear winter. UFC with Jesus and Hitler, definitely filler. Rage on the beat killer, getting hit with the twister. Mister, give a shit less up in the session. Many you know there's more to life than playing pretend. Burn those fucking books up and pick up a pen. Your faith isn't for me, your faith isn't for me. Let's burn these books and dare the Dark Lord to take us away. Your faith isn't for me, your faith isn't for me. Trading your self-esteem for some fictional dream. Your faith isn't for me, your faith isn't for me. Let's burn these books and dare the Dark Lord to take us away. Your faith isn't for me, your faith isn't for me. I'll never believe in nothing, it must have been meant to be.
If you're interested in talking to Compella about the music that he's created or the lyrics, you can definitely go ahead and ask him yourself. Just go to the luciferianresearch.org and send him a comment. Now, we'd like to have submissions from the rest of you too, and we can put them on future episodes of this podcast. We'd love to have your submissions. I'd just like to take a moment to thank everybody who has participated in the LRS Sigil Challenge so far. We've got some really great submissions, and we're going to be displaying some of these on the podcast. So if you're looking at the podcast right now, you'll be seeing some of the images that were produced in this challenge so far. And so if you're seeing them right now, it worked. We'd like to see more submissions, not just for the LRS Sigil Challenge, but for any other type of artwork. Thanks to Aaron Castaneda. Thanks to Keith. Thanks to Abraxas. And Sinister 101. And Christopher Gant also submitted an image. So that was the first episode of the LRS podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening. So for the next episode, we're looking to do a really hot topic within the left-hand path. Now, this is essentially, what is the difference between Satan and Lucifer? Or is there a difference? And what about the other characters too that people commonly associate with the devil? This is Jeremy Crow signing off for the first episode of the LRS podcast. Hope to see you on the LRS network. It's at luciferianresearch.org.